Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real 100%. We're 100% real about life, and we are definitely here to talk about it. I hope your day is going well. It's been one of those days. Um, it's been one of those days. So, today's topic is really about identity. I was gonna put it on the little banner thing, but I think I like the name of my book better. But it's called Identity. Oh, so I had to go through this training, and it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with mentally. Took me back in my mind about certain things uh, that I personally have dealt with. Nobody honestly knows the full story. You get like bits and pieces here and there. You put it all together after a while, right? Um, Anyways, I went through this training. It was a video already pre-recorded. And there were two ladies. They were talking. Two of them had two different stories, um, but kind of came together in a sense at the end. So they were talking about our youth these days and how there's a lot of identity confusion at youth. I try to figure out how we got here as far as our young people. Young people, when I say they are, I would say 13 and younger for now, because we do have some older ones, but let's talk about the younger versions now. So the 13 and younger ones are the ones that I'm really curious about, only because when they say in any way, shape, or form that they don't know who they are and they don't know their identity, and they come to you and say, "Hey, mom, hey, dad, I think I'm supposed to be." First of all, and this is no slay to the parents, this is all a shot to the enemy. I would just say it like that. Because we have gotten into a culture where we feel like it's okay. Again, no slay, because your girl did it all. Okay. So I know the struggle. I know the path of coming out of it, if you want to come out of it, is not as easy as as you think it is, right? Because like I said before, this spirit has come to keep. It's coming for keeps, right? So anyways, so I get to this video and I'm like, okay, so I put my headphones down and I was like, I'm just gonna go just let it play, blah blah blah, call it a day. Baby, when I tell you conviction came up over my life, and the Lord was like, yeah, you gonna listen to this. I said, oh yeah. I said, this thing is 2 hours though. Like I'm really throwing a tantrum, bro. It was a lot. It was a lot. So I put my headphones back on and I started listening. And the more I listened, the more heartbroken I got, right? So as the lady was talking, one of the ladies was talking about her son and how he came to her and was like, "Hey mom, think I'm supposed to be." And his child is young. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of environment he was around, school, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, Blackbook Child. Let me bring it all back. Um, I don't know what kind of YouTube, all that. I don't know what he was watching at school. Like I said, I don't, home life. Don't know. Um, but the fact that he has been pondering this for a while. That wasn't the first time he may have thought about it. I'm sure he was trying to process to say, how am I going to go and talk to my mom, or how am I going to talk to my parents, or who can I go and talk to? Uh, how can I get this out? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Why is my body feeling certain kind of ways when I'm around, you know, the same boys or same girls or whatever? Like, why am I feeling this way? So I'm sure it was a process in the mind. And in that moment, it took me back. And I'm just like, man, this is real. You know, I never wanted to change my gender, but I did not like the opposite one for a very long time, even as a youth. I had the same attraction. And being in a PK life of men and women of God who prayed all the time and prophesied. When I tell you it was in church, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If it ain't a shut in, it was prayer. Was prayer was Sunday afternoon service. If it wasn't at the church, it was at my nanny house. If it wasn't at my nanny house, it was at our house. If it wasn't at our house, it was at what do you call it? The rec center. If it wasn't at the rec center, child, it was somewhere. Okay, it was in the mall. It was in. It was at the gas station. It was somewhere. Like it was always something. And but to be in that kind of environment, you would think you wouldn't go through those kind of things, right? You'll be okay, you know. Um, but no, it was a struggle for me. Though I was a very active child, um, starting from 13 and up, but it was a lot more before that. I mean, sexually was 13 and up, but mentally it was probably before that. But the same attraction definitely came at a younger age because I'm not gonna say the environment I was around, just a basic small town, you know, but the thoughts were always there, you know. And then I also had a friend that I really wasn't like into or whatever, but you could tell was a little, you know, but I wasn't attracted to her, but whatever. It was there, right? But it wasn't spoken of. It wasn't spoken of at all. It was just the basic stuff, you know, teenage life, speak people smoking and drinking and all that stuff. But let's go back. Um, but yeah, I dealt with it as a young girl. Like I said, I didn't want to change my identity. I just wanted the identity, just not the whole change, right? Um, so as I was listening to this video, like I said, it took me back. It just really took me back. I was just like, how hard was it? How hard is it to process it when you really don't understand? And now that I've grown in God and know who I am and all these other things in my mind, I'm like, dude, this child didn't even have a chance to even know who he was, who he could be. You know, for you to say, okay, son, let's go to the doctor and get you treated, get you where you need to be. And I'm like, okay. I said, this is getting intense. And I tell you, my heart is breaking continuously. I'm like, bro, like this dude really did not get to know who he was. So let's go to the next lady. The next lady she was, I can identify with her because she didn't do the change. She just changed her mental to where she was acting the part, acting the identity of it, but she, still the same. And she started off as in her teens when whatever happened or not. But I forgot what they call it now. It's the whole alphabet at this point. Um, but like I said, she was the same, but playing the other role. And again, not really just fully knowing her experience, but only thing she really just talked about was how the struggle was with insurance and people identifying you as what you want to be called. And so they both came back together. And again, like I said, they were talking about insurance, how a lot of these children who were going through either the testosterone or the estrogen or the surgeries or whatever they were going through fell through. In my mind, I was like, dude, like, sorry, like, dude, these people, these children are stuck. They're stuck in between. There's an in between space. And I'm just like, what do they do now? But my issue with the conversation was this baby, these babies are babies. They don't know life yet. They don't know, yeah, they know how to use the bathroom. Yeah, they go to school. Yes, they know two plus two. Yes, they know these things, but their identity, it you don't grow into it till later on in life. That age, you're grabbing, you're eating everything. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at the way people live their lives. Oh, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer, engineer. I want to, you're building your identity, with the things that you see. And when a child comes to you and say their whole identity is not what it's supposed to be, and they didn't even give you're not, as a parent, you're not even giving them the opportunity to say, or you saying to them, hey son, let's talk about this. Or hey daughter, let's talk about this. How did we get here? Did something happen? No, don't come at them and start yelling and screaming and hollering or whatever. But come to them, be like, hey, let's talk about this. Like, what, how? How did we get here? Or have you been touched, or have you been around certain things, or what did you watch? What made you think these things? What caused you to want to be the complete opposite? Like, what about it makes you want to be it? Why haven't you given yourself a chance to be the identity that you are to be? Because God didn't make no mistakes. I'll tell you that right now. He didn't make no mistake. He knew who we were to be in the beginning when he made us, right? When the doctor said it was a boy, that's what you're supposed to be. When the doctor said it was a girl, that's what you're supposed to be. But now the culture that we're in, we're all confused, because it's like, okay, no, I can easily change this. This is nothing. I'm not supposed to be this. Change it. But as a child, we really have to get to the root of this issue. And even when I look back on my own life and family, generational curses, and how seeds were spread all around, all the way around. And that seed doesn't always flourish as when you're a baby or coming at 1, 2, 3 years old or whatever, but it tends to grow. It'll grow. It'll start feeling right, because it's like a plant. You put a seed in the ground, give it about 60 days, 90 days. You'll start to see the little green come up out the ground, um, and start to flourish. That's how these spirits work. Don't let it link up with any other ones because it makes it even worse. But again, as a parent, give your child an opportunity to know who they are to be. Don't agree just right off the bat because you want to hurt their feelings. No, you were given that child to protect them. You were given that child to mold them and train them in the way they should go. Now, when they get older, they gonna run off do what they want to do. But guess what? They gonna always come back to what you said. And if you are feeding your child that you're okay with them changing their identity, then that's all they know to go back to. But if you didn't give them the opportunity to say, or you just tell them the open door policy to say, okay, let's figure this out. Let's talk about this. You know, what? How do we get here? Like what happened? And then they can go back to the conversation and say, you know what, my mom was right or my dad was right. I'm better off the way I am. There's so much I can do. And then now that these children are stuck without insurance, without being supported, right, through insurance or through these meds and all this stuff because of them been cut off. What are they supposed to do now? What are you gonna say to that child now? What are you gonna say? You're gonna have a daughter that's stuck on testosterone that has a beard and chest hairs and hairs growing everywhere and their voice is getting a little deeper and you're stuck in that way. Or you have a young man who stuck on estrogen and they start to grow breasts and all these things and it's like they're stuck. What do you do? Like what are you gonna do? And again, I say it's a spirit thing. I'm not bashing anybody, but we really have to talk about these things with these kids. Like it's not. Don't just be okay with it. Trying to figure out what it is, like what the root of it is. I mean, I know back then, a lot of people would sweep things under the rug. Um, Whatever happens in this house stays in this house, or uh, don't say nothing, or you're gonna be in trouble, or all these little things that these people be saying. You don't need to do that anymore. No. Because guess what? When you stand before God, He's going to ask you, what did you do with what I gave you? And He gave you those kids. He gave you those people that's in your life. He giving you these things. Don't destroy it. Don't do it. Let's pray about it first. Let's talk about this thing. Don't just give your kids over to the enemy like that, because that's exactly what he wants. You know, that's exactly what he wants. So my encouragement for you today is let's have these hard conversations. They're not easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but let's start at least having the conversation, right? So yeah, don't just give them over like that, man. It's too much in this world that we can gain. It's not always bad. They can be the best man lawyer there is. She can be the best female doctor surgeon there is. Let them grow into their actual permanent identity and what they were supposed to be. So, but that's my encouragement for today. Um, I hope that it helps somebody um, start the conversation. Um, yeah, start the conversation. Help somebody start the conversation. And rethink some things. So I hope you all enjoy your day, and I'll come back and talk to you guys later. Bye.